It's a joy to work with me. I tell people that all the time. Anyway, Katherine Forster is here, as you can see, our political reporter, because the government's announced plans to end what it calls the 8 a.m. scramble for GP appointments. They're chucking a load of money at this, Katherine, aren't they? How's it going to work?
They are, 240 million, and they're really keen to get back on the front foot after those desperate election results. So, lots of new technology, online booking, improved phone systems. We've all been through the hell of the constant engaged tone, redialling at 8 o'clock to get through. So it will be these new systems. You won't have to redial. You'll get you're number one in the queue, you're number 3 in the queue. We'll call you back. So then you can put the phone down, go about your business, they will call you back. You'll get an urgent appointment on the day, they say, or if it's not urgent, within 2 weeks. They're training receptionists so that they can assess how urgent things are. I think there will be some concerns about that. But, of course, GPs are our first port of call, aren't they, into the NHS? Of course, there's huge backlogs, 7.2 million people waiting for treatment, huge shortage of doctors and the ongoing strike. So it's certainly something, and I think the government's hoping that they can show results on this at least before the general election, because, of course, the training of doctors takes many, many, many years.
Yes, and that's an interesting point, isn't it? Because many people will be watching and listening and saying 6,500 new receptionists, we need 6,500 new doctors, but this is something that can be done now. And another part of this is receptionists being retrained or adding additional training to be care negotiators so that they can kind of sort out where you need your care. Should it be at a pharmacist or does it actually need to be with a doctor?
But that means telling a receptionist what's wrong with you, which I don't like.
Not everybody is going to want to do that, and I'm sure if you don't want to, that you're not going to have to. But it's clearly something. But lots of people will say, well, this is just tinkering around the edges because you've still got nurses' strikes, potentially. You've still got junior doctors' strikes. The government are saying we're spending more than ever on the NHS. But, of course, there is a huge shortage of doctors, and Labour, as you would expect, are saying this is basically just tinkering around the edges because we need more doctors. This is going to do nothing to address those shortages. But certainly, if you don't have to wait at 8 o'clock, if you don't have to spend 30, 40 minutes constantly redialing, that's something, but a drop in the ocean, really, I suppose.
And for Rishi Sunak, I mean, you touched on it a little bit earlier, this is him hoping to bounce back from those dismal local election results. And, of course, he'd probably be quite grateful for the timing of the coronation as well, which seemed to be a good distraction, really, from those results.
I think the government will have been incredibly glad that the coronation was when it was, because the local elections are traditionally the first Thursday in May, which they were, but a very happy accident for them, because otherwise we've not talked that much, have we? Because we've all been in coronation mode, quite rightly, but 1,061 seats that they lost, that's beyond their sort of worst expectations. They'd been briefing 1,000 thinking, oh, well, maybe it'd be 600, 700, we can put a good spin on it. There's no good spin that they can put on this. So clearly they need to get back on the front foot. They need to be seen to be delivering. It's all very well having these 5 priorities, but until they actually can show the results, show inflation coming down, show the waiting list coming down, show people crossing the channel, those numbers going down, are people going to come around to them?
What's your sense? Because we've been talking about, well, a general election in sort of spring next year was the sort of talk. I think it doesn't have to be until sort of early 2025 at the latest, does it? I think we're going to see it much later on, aren't we?
I don't know why they would go before next autumn, really. I mean, they could go to January 2025, but the weather's awful, and so maybe, October time, because they need time, don't they, to get the cost of living crisis under control, to stop the strikes, to make people start to feel better off. And hopefully, I mean, many Tory MPs calling for this now, to be able to cut taxes. Why would you try to rush that through? So we don't know, but the feeling seems to be that it will be certainly later rather than sooner.
Did you get a break from politics this weekend and get all roiled out?
I did. I was off. I watched it on the telly, having tried to go to the Queen's funeral, which did not work well. Watched it on the telly with the best pictures.
Yeah.
The guys were fabulous. And then we had a street party yesterday and the sun shone.
Fabulous.
So it was really nice.
Oh, that's
fabulous.
what we like to hear.
Yeah.